What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing 2 videos on the channel, and this is the first one I'm recording, I guess. So let's get into the recording. So this video, as you can read by the title, is just my entire thoughts on everything that's happened with Pokemon Sword and Shield from reveal to release, my thoughts on the game after release. I mean, it came out on the 15th of November, and today is the 5th of December. So, you know, I've had almost half to a full month of playing the game to decide my entire thoughts, and I just thought I'd kind of cram this all into a video. I never really made a video while the whole National Dex and stuff controversy was happening, because I was waiting to see the decks for myself and see if it was actually going to be as bad as people were saying it was. So, yeah, so let's get into kind of when the game got revealed. When the game got revealed in the February Pokemon Direct, I was excited. I mean, I've played through 1st gen, 2nd gen, 3rd gen, and 4th gen, but then I kind of just didn't play Gen 5, Gen 6, or Gen 7. I mean, like, I watched playthroughs of the games, but I never played them. And so I was quite excited to play Gen 8. I knew I was going to get it. It was going to be the first main Pokemon game on console, and I was excited for it. I liked the starters at that point, and at that point I was going to choose Sobble, but that changed because I kind of like Scorbunny's animations better, so I chose Scorbunny when I actually got the game. So, you know, everything was kind of looking good, but then E3 came and they finally gave us more information on the game. Well, not really. It was like a week before E3, they did a Pokemon Direct, and then they did the Treehouse thing at E3. But before we get to the Treehouse, let's do the little Pokemon Direct they did. They announced a lot of things. I mean, they showed off some new Pokemon. It was like 3 new Pokemon. It really wasn't that much. They showed off Dynamaxing and like Gigantamaxing, which is kind of like the new type of Mega Evolution, Z moves, you know, which isn't even in the game. There's no Z moves, there's no Mega Evolution, which some fans weren't very happy about. And yeah, so then we go to the Treehouse where they announced the wild area, and everyone's flipping out because what the wild area is, if you don't know, Pokemon, the entire series is, you know, it's not top down, it's kind of third person, but the camera doesn't move. It's stuck there and you can't move it. But this wild area is a giant Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Wild sized, but it feels like you're playing Breath of the Wild in this little area. It takes you around 10 to 20 minutes to walk through the entire thing, around 5 to 10 if you have the bike, but you know. So it's a pretty big area, and it's just filled with, it's got 10 little areas inside of it, all with different types of Pokemon, and you can actually move the camera around with the right stick and do heaps of different things. There's heaps of NPCs to talk to in the area. Overall, I really like the wild area, but I'll definitely talk about that more when we get to the review side of this video. But then they announced that since basically they need to animate all of these new Pokemon for console, there will not be all 800, 900, I don't know how much it is. Let me look it up or something later, but I'm not going to look it up now because I don't have my computer in front of me. But they announced that not all the Pokemon would be in the game, and the full lineup of Pokemon would be 400. And overall, I was not mad at this when they first showed. I mean, half of the Pokemon in the entire series are like Trubbish, the garbage Pokemon, Vanilla Ice, the ice cream Pokemon. And then you got your really cool ones like everyone's favourite starters from Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. You know, you've got all of your everyone's favourite Pokemon, you know, Charizard and stuff like that. I mean, Charizard's part of the starter evolutions, you know, everyone has kind of their favourite Pokemons, whether it's from Gen 1 or whatever gen they started playing in, or just a Pokemon that they've really started to like. So I thought, you know, they're probably going to cut all those boring Pokemon, and they're going to keep all the good Pokemon, And then this whole thing that they're reanimating everything started to get a bit fishy, because the thing is, when they were making like X and Y, Sun and Moon for the 3DS, they said that, and that because that was when they were first doing 3D models, because Gen 1 through to 5 was all pixel art, and when they were making Gen 6, they all made high definition models of all of the Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 6, and then they just downgraded the models and put them on the 3DS. So boom, they already have 6 whole generations of Pokemon. That's way more than 400, and there are 88 brand new Pokemon, including Galar forms, in Gen 8. So that's nowhere near. So that's around 317 they're only porting. And I mean, they still have to add Pokemon from Gen 7. So it's like, why can't they just add those? Even if those consoles aren't super, even if those original HD models they made that they downgraded for 3DS aren't 2019 worthy, still, just crisp them up a little bit. It can't be too hard. Game Freak, and just Pokemon in general. Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise in history. It's bigger than Disney. It's bigger than Hello Kitty, which is number 2. And I don't remember what number 3 is, but it's bigger than any other franchise in history. They can do whatever the hell they want to. So that isn't right to me. How, like, sure, making the Gen 7 Pokemon, that might be a bit hard because they have to actually make HD models for that now. But, you know, because they just went straight and made downgraded models for that. And that's why there actually isn't many Gen 7 Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. But, you know, I was still a bit, I was just hopeful that the game would probably be good. And then we started seeing pictures because people started leaking the game, and we saw kind of like the models, like the actual in-game, in-file, blocky, polygonal models, and people were comparing the 3D models from Gen 6 and Gen 7 to Gen 8, and they were the exact same. There was millimeters of pixel difference, but they were the exact same. And this is when I thought, what the hell's going on? They have more than billions. They're the highest grossing franchise. They're bigger than Disney. They have more money than Disney, and they can't afford to make new animations like this. And when we saw animations, I was playing through the game, and I will definitely explain this during the review, but my starter Pokemon, I'm not going to name the middle evolution, so I'm just going to keep it at Scorbunny, learned Double Kick, and the Double Kick animation was awful. It was just, he jumps up, like a little hop, and then a little foot picture, just like goes onto the enemy, and then health bar drops. And to me, that's awful. That's the same animation that we've had since like Gen 5. That's the same animation for Double Kick that we've had since, you know, it first got announced and whatever gen it did. It's not good. But I was still hopeful for the game. Maybe, you know, new Pokemon. And just, I was hoping. So then November 15th came, and I picked up the game. So now we're getting to the review section of the video. So if you guys have been watching up until now and you do not want to be spoiled on any new Pokemon, because this is the point where I will be saying new Pokemon names, and I will be saying new attacks, and I'll be saying story spoilers a little bit. So if you do not want to hear some of that, please leave this video. This video will always be on my channel right here, always, so you can watch it, go play the game, come back and do your thoughts. But if you do not mind spoilers, I don't care. So let's get into the review. I mean, like, So I mean, I'm just gonna be like talking about kind of like my experiences with the game. So my final team in the game ended up being my starter, Scorbunny, who is now Cinderace. That's who he evolves into. My second Pokemon on my team is a Tornadus, who is a legendary that you catch near the end of the game. My third Pokemon in my team is Shiftry, which is, I really like Nuzleaf, and I didn't want him to evolve, but he evolved anyway. But I kept him on the team because he was like my only grass Pokemon. Vulpix, because I like Vulpix and I was wanting to evolve it into Ninetales until I found out Vulpix doesn't even evolve from levels. So I took him off my team for a Tornadus, but I thought I would give Vulpix a mention because it was on my team from level 13 to level 50 something. Then my next Pokemon on my team was... I'm not remembering. But yeah, I liked my team. It was a well-balanced team, I can tell you that. But, you know, there were... Oh yeah, there was Corviknight and there was the Fox evolution. I don't remember it. But, a lot of those Pokemon were new Pokemon. A lot of those Pokemon were old Pokemon. So, I mean, my favourite area in the game, like I said, was the wild area. There's just so much you can do in the wild area when it comes to exploring. There's different weather effects that can happen in the wild area, so some Pokemon will only appear in certain weather effects. But there is this one problem I have with the wild area, and I think you guys have seen it. It's this tree. There's this one tree that is just copy-pasted everywhere in the wild area. It looks like an N64 tree. It really does. And the worst thing is that the berry trees actually look good in this game. Like, you know, they actually have an actual, you know, sprite for a tree. So sometimes these berry trees are right next to these ugly trees. And it's like, why can't you just animate that as a normal tree? And it's really bad. Look up, like, Pokemon Sword and Shield tree, and there's memes on it. It's really not good. But, the thing with Sword and Shield is the story I really don't care about. I cared about the story, and I cared about all the characters in the, you know, in the, like, other kind of games in the series. But with this game, it's just... I didn't care about the characters. My rival was too annoying. Marnie, who's another rival, is just not important and you barely see her until like the end of the game. Bede has an okay character development. He's like the third rival. But he just disappears after being halfway through the game and comes back later with some story arc that he barely even did. Chairman Rose, who's like the villain, I didn't like his character because he doesn't even act like a villain when he gets arrested at the end of the game, and you don't even know, and he doesn't even seem like a villain. Like when I finished the game, I was like, that's it. Like that's really it, until obviously the post game happened and I caught my Zacian. But you know what I mean. And just one thing I didn't like about the game was that there are 18 gyms, there are 18 gyms, one for each type. Half the gyms are in, or 8 of the gyms are in the minor league, and 8 of the gyms are in the major league. Half the gyms are in the minor league, half the gyms are in the major league. In Sword, you fight, grass, water, fire, fighting, rock, dragon, dark, the usual gym. Well, not the usual. We've actually never had a dark gym, which is interesting because we finally have had a dark gym. But the thing about the game is that 4 of those gyms are exclusive to Sword. I don't remember which ones, but 4 of them are exclusive to Sword. And there are 4 gyms that are exclusive to Shield. I'm pretty sure there's an ice gym in Shield, there's a ghost gym. It seems sick. And I mean, some of the Sword gyms are sick, but I don't think it's fair that the game should be able to lock these gyms just behind a paywall. Like, the gyms are such a big part of Pokemon. And I mean, like, there's only 8 in each game, which there still is here, plus the Elite Four, which you go to. Well, it's not really the Elite Four, it's called the Champions Cup in this game, but it's still basically is the Elite Four, because you do 4 battles. But it's just, I don't think because at least in the other games, they don't mention that there's other gyms, which there isn't, because you explore the entire world and there isn't. But you can physically see where those gyms would be, but you can't do it. You can't go into them. It's just, it doesn't let you, which I think is unfair. Gyms are such a big point of the game, and I'm not saying put 18 gyms in one version, but just cut the 18 gym Major League, Minor League things. You can't actually challenge the Minor League in Sword and Shield, and just make 8 specific gyms for both games that are the same in both games. And don't maybe make people want to buy it just because there's actually 12 gyms you can face, and when they buy one game, they can only face 8 of them, which definitely isn't fair. The post game is definitely alright though. You go around to the gyms, you do like these max raid battles, which are things you can do in the wild area. They're basically like these little dens where you fight a Dynamax Pokemon, and then you have a chance to catch them. And after you catch them, then you have a Pokemon that has the ability to Dynamax. The thing with Dynamaxing though is it doesn't feel important at all, because unlike Z moves and unlike Mega Revolutions where you can do it any time, you can only do Dynamax during these max raid battles and during gyms. I'm serious, that's it. You can't do it during normal battles, which to me that just seems so unfair, because it doesn't feel important. You forget that Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing exists because once you finish all the gyms and you do every giant max raid battle, once you do every single max raid battle and you do every single gym, you can't Dynamax anymore. That ability that some of your Pokemon have is just gone. You can't do it. And then we go to the big problem, in my opinion, with the game, which is the Pokedex. The Pokedex has 400 Pokemon, and in the entire series, there are 807 Pokemon across 7 generations, plus 88, or plus 87 in the 8th gen. So there is around 894 Pokemon ever. Not even half of the Pokemon in existence are in this game. Okay, they probably chose the good things. Let me tell you, out of the first 3 starters, everyone's favourite, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, only the Charmander line is in the game. In the 2nd gen, everyone's starters, guess what? No Totodile, no Torchic, no Feraligatr. There's no Bellsprout, there's no Pidgey. The Weedle evolution line's in the game, but screw Caterpie. We don't get no Butterfrees, instead we get Beedrill. There's no Chikoritas, there's no Tricos. Gen 4 starters. My gen that I first played and have so much nostalgia for. No Chimchar and his evolution line, the one I chose. No Empoleon. No Piplup. And there's no Turtwig. 5th gen. There's no there's no Oshawott, there's no Tepig, there's no Snivy. From Gen 6 starters, there's not a single Delphox in sight. There's not a single Froakie in sight. The thing that turns into Greninja. Lucario's in the game though, sure. Lucario's cool. Greninja didn't make the cut. Greninja's a Smash character. Gen 7. Oh, barely any Gen 7 Pokemon are in there. Incineroar's evolution line. Decidueye's evolution line. and the Popplio evolution line, none of that. But no, we get Grubbin, the bug Pokemon from that gen, the Weedle of that gen. And that's just disappointing. I mean, so many people have grown up with these starters, and only the Charmander line is in the game, which is ridiculous. There are so many starter lines, and the only one they're going to give us is Charmander. Some people don't like Charmander. Some people like Squirtle more. And some people didn't even play Gen 1, and they played Gen 4 or Gen 2, where Charmander wasn't important. And not only that, it's just some Pokemon in general that are just missing that's really weird. Mr. Mime's gone, but they have a new version of him called Mr. Rhyme, who's a comedian Pokemon. But Mr. Mime can still be found, you just gotta trade Mr. Rhyme for him. There's no... A lot of the Gen 1 Pokemon that everyone likes are gone. A lot of the Gen 7 Pokemon that everyone likes are gone. And sure, they're replaced with Gen 8 counterparts, but that's the problem. When you're adding, there are 323 Pokemon from past gens in this game out of 807. Of course the fans are going to be angry. So many people have their favourite Pokemons. When the Pokemon Company did a poll online, and I'm saying, everyone voted on this poll, biggest series in history, Greninja was voted as the world's favourite Pokemon. No Greninja in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And it's sad. A lot of my favourite Pokemon are in the game. My favourite starter evolution lines have been Chimchar and Bulbasaur and Trico, but none of that's in the game. I really like Garchomp, and I really like Garchomp. He's not in the game. Instead, it's Machamp, and I like Machamp, but the thing is, he only evolves through trading, and I don't have friends who like Pokemon. Sure, there are goods about the game. I have taught good. The wild area. Fighting is still just as fun as ever. The game is as fun as ever. Catching Pokemon is still heaps of fun. Max raid battles in the gyms are heaps of fun. But just so many problems let this game down. Like the lack of, Pokemon in general. Making gyms exclusive to versions. And while sure, I did buy both versions, most people aren't going to do that. And they're going to have gyms locked away that they can't get into. And they're going to think, how do I do that? And they're going to look it up. And the answer they're going to get is buy the opposite game. Some people who grew up with this franchise have favourite Pokemon who aren't in this game. The characters don't have development at all. And I mean, sure, this game is good, but just all these problems make me not really want to play it that much. And I mean, so far in December, we've had Simulacra come out, a really cool horror indie game I haven't played yet. I've been playing that more than I've played Pokemon this month. And sure, only 5 days into the month, but still, the game only came out 10 days ago. I have been disappointed by Pokemon Sword and Shield, and to the fact that the devs are so with this idea of no national decks that they said that there will be no there will be no after the game updates to add these new Pokemon. Pokemon Home's going to come out and people aren't even going to want to use it. Because they won't want to use it. They can't bring their favourite Pokemon from all those past gens to this game. And while sure this game has disappointed me, I still find it fun. The thing that's disappointed me the most is just the laziness, and sure, I was hopeful at first. But after seeing all of the animations and all of the stuff that has just been copied over from those 3DS models. The animations of moves barely changing, other than new moves, like the starters moves that are animated really well. And when you have double kick and flame ball on your move library, double kick, like I said, the animation is as bad, and that's not the only one. There are so many bad animations. But then you use flame ball, and it looks like a move animated from the anime. If I had to give this game a score, it would definitely be a 7.5. The game isn't amazing. It's good. It disappointed me. I was expecting an 8.5, a 9. I know that Pokemon Company can do better than this. I know that because it was only just a year ago that Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu came out. Downgraded versions of the series. And I enjoyed it more than Sword and Shield. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, remember to smash that like button. And later today, there'll be the upload of my Ring Fit Adventure review. But, we'll get into that later today. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments, have you bought Pokemon Sword and Shield? Did you buy both? What are your thoughts on the games? Have I been a bit too harsh on it, or have I been not harsh enough on it? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you guys did, I've already told you to smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.